welcome to day 2 of the Mental Clarity 5-Day Challenge. Today we're going to be removing thoughts. So today we're going to be actually starting the work, and I'm going to do this with you, and I'm going to tell you some of the thoughts that come to my mind, because then you can maybe understand the surface thoughts that I'm talking about. Because a lot of times people are like, I'm not going to write that because it's not important. Doesn't matter. Surface thoughts are every thought that you can catch. Like I said yesterday, we have 12,000 to 60,000 thoughts in a day. So if you can catch a few of those and stop them from taking over our minds and repeating and going, continuous cycle, then you're going to get to those underlying thoughts and things are going to get better, okay? So this process can take time. If you're doing this on your own and you're a beginner, I highly recommend setting a timer for maybe 1 minute. If you've never done this before, set a timer for 1 minute. Just write what comes to mind and let it come out as it is. Don't judge it. Don't stop yourself. Write everything, okay? If you're someone that's been doing this for a while, maybe set a little bit longer timer, but again, write everything that comes to mind. Every single thing. I got to thinking, I was just sitting in the bathroom earlier, and thoughts were coming to my mind, and I was like, what am I even going to write whenever I'm doing this? Because on live, it's different than when you're in person, personally doing it yourself, because more things come to mind. But for me, the things that come to my mind is today's a good day. I'm glad we're doing this challenge. My book goes to print in a few weeks. Now my brain's no, we're not thinking right now. It's blank. So it's one of those things that as you do it, you'll think more, more in the ways that you need to, and you'll be able to write things down a lot easier. So make sure you set a timer and follow that. Just once it goes off, put your pen down. Next time, do it again for another minute. Put your pen down when your timer goes off. And just continue to do that a lot of times you'll do that 1 minute and your brain will let you go longer than a minute. So as you continue, you'll learn and go, okay? So we're gonna get out your notebook and your writing utensil. I want you to start out writing anything on your mind. I'll do it with you. These are the thoughts that just show up. Like I said yesterday, did I brush my teeth this morning? Did I get the kids on the bus? Not yet, because it's not that time. What color should I dye my hair next? Speaking of which, my phone is sitting on my hair dye. It's gonna be red. So, I'm gonna start with you, and I'm gonna do this for a few minutes here. So, I'm gonna say my thoughts out loud. I hope that doesn't distract you, but you can do this either with me or after me, however you want to do it. I'm not gonna write a whole lot, but I am gonna tell you exactly what comes to my mind so that you can see what the surface thoughts are, okay? All right. And a lot of times I just sit down and have the blank piece of paper, have no idea what I'm even going to think about, what I'm going to talk about, whatever. And a lot of times I will write at the very top of the page, what is on my mind? And then I get quiet. That's the fun part. Today is a good day. It smells wonderful outside. We finally got rain. I hope the boys get up to their alarm. What else is on my mind? These cats can be annoying. This is how random my brain is, you guys. So those are some of the thoughts that were coming up as I was writing. And it's a matter of listening to whatever you hear and not judging anything. If I judged half of that, I wouldn't even wrote any of it, probably, because those things are not exactly important, but they're the surface thoughts. They're the thoughts that keep us distracted away from the deeper thoughts that want to come out but can't come out because there's so many surface thoughts circulating that our brains are like, I don't have time to think about the underlying thoughts. We got to think about these thoughts that are right here at the front of our brains, you know, trying to keep us doing all the things. And a lot of times it's a to-do list that you have circulating. So once you dump that all out, then you can continue. So write every single thing that comes to your mind. Ooh. Okay, so while the thoughts are coming up, make sure you're not judging yourself. Example, I'm not going to write that because it's stupid. That doesn't even make sense. That's not a good idea. That's a really bad thought, okay? Even if it sounds really bad, write it out. Get it out of your head. There's no reason to hold on to it. Dump it, okay? No judgments, write everything that comes to mind. When we're doing this, we're essentially taking out the trash. And I love this example because, like I said yesterday, when you have a full mind, it's like you've walked into a room that is completely packed from the floor to the ceiling and you can't get anywhere. Okay, so you literally walk into the room and you turn and there's stuff, you turn and there's stuff, and you turn and there's stuff everywhere. Okay, it's like hoarding almost, but in your mind. And your mind can only handle so much. And then once it's full, it's like, we're just going to think the same thoughts over and over and over and over and over again. And you don't have the space to be able to take on new information. So it blocks it out and it's like, nope, no room. So once you start dumping these surface thoughts, we start to get to the underlying thoughts, and we also create space to be able to put more positive, uplifting, learning, growing material into our brains. Okay? So, most of the surface thoughts are distracting thoughts to keep us from thinking deeper. When we live in our surface thoughts, we can't get to what really matters. Many people get so stuck in their surface thoughts that they live in a loop of lull. Same thing day in and day out with no change. If we look back, if you're someone that's been living in the lull for a really long time, you can look back and 5 years ago may look very similar to today. Okay? If you're someone that has done this process, knowingly or unknowingly, then it might look a little different than it did 5 years ago. Okay? So if you're someone that wants life to look a lot different in 5 years from now, now is the time to start doing this stuff. It's time to start taking out the trash and filling our minds up for do this for 1 minute. How many times a day? I personally, if this is something that you don't do often, I personally recommend doing this once a week to start out. So pick a day of the week and dump all of your thoughts. Okay? Do it for 1 minute and then put your pen down and don't look at it again yet. I'm going to get to more throughout the rest of the week of what we will do with these thoughts, but for right now, we're focusing on the dumping. But I only recommend doing this maybe once a week, maybe once every other week, depending on how your body reacts to it. If you're someone that gets super fatigued from dumping your thoughts and doing this journaling, I would recommend doing it once every other week until you can learn to fill your cup and rejuvenate after the fact, okay? Don't overdo it and don't wear yourself out. So, okay, I want you to think back to July 8th, 2017. Can you tell me what happened on that day? If you said yes, you probably had something important happening that day. Like me, July 8th, 2017 was my wedding day. That is why I remember it, okay? So, you ask me, any other date? I can't tell you. Can I tell you what happened on September 13th, 2021? No. Nope. And that was only a week ago. So our brains hold on to important stuff a lot of times, but a lot of times there's like muck and mess. So if there's something that happened to you on a certain day and your mind still brings it up, it had some sort of meaning to you. So it's something that you need to look at a little bit closer and be like, what is this doing? How is this impacting my life? What do I need how do I, like, you can neutralize events that happen to you by being able to look at them in a different perspective, okay? Everything in this life is happening for us. No matter whether it's good or bad, it's happening for us. There's a lesson to be learned in every single thing that we do and that happens, okay? So, at the end of every month, this is one of the things that I started doing because I felt like time was going way too fast and I had zero idea what was going on because I'd had so much in my brain that it couldn't hold on to anymore. And it got to the point to where I was like, what did we do in like last month, August? So I sit down, I take the page off of my calendar because I've got like one of those big desk calendars. I take that month off of the calendar, flip it over to the back, and I sit down and I write the month at the top of the page. And then I write every word that comes to mind. Okay? So sometimes it's exhilarating. Sometimes it's breakthrough, learning, growing, happy. Just quick words that I think of that come to mind about the month of August. Okay? For me, August was a big month. My husband chose sobriety with me. I've been 6 months sober this month. So it was something that was super huge to me. And that was one of the biggest things that I put on there. And I have 4 phases. Like I have phases where it takes me 4 months to speak about something and then manifest something. So from January to April, those months were really good. My pages look awesome. They're all hung up. From May to August, it was a lot slower. Things were very different and a little bit laggy. And those pages are not hung up yet. And then September is a totally different phase. So we're in a whole new phase. So being able to get those thoughts out allows me to kind of see how my like thoughts and processes go throughout the year. Okay. Freaking cool. It's important to clear your mind often. Okay. I prefer daily or every other day because I've been doing this for 2 years now. Sometimes I'll go weeks without clearing my mind and I can feel the stagnant energy of slow days just like hanging on to me. And it's something that I don't like, stagnant energy. I don't like to feel stuck. I don't like to sit in my sadness anymore. It was one of those things that got me down into depression in June 2019. And when I sat with that stuff, it just kept getting worse. And the more that I thought about it, the more that the negative thoughts came up, and it was just like continuous. And I was like, this can't happen. So now I get nervous, honestly, whenever sad thoughts come up, because I'm like, I do not want to sit in that pit again. So I just dump them onto paper and I'm like, get them out, get them out, get them out, like take the trash out. Like, I don't want these in here anymore. And once I'm able to do that, it's able to like open my mind and allow my energy to shift from the negative to cleansing, to clarity, to, happy. Okay. Okay. Once we've made it through the majority of our surface thoughts, our mind will begin to get quiet. This is where things get nerve-wracking because a lot of times people don't let their minds get quiet and they panic. That's when they stop writing. They're like, okay, we're done for the day. Let's go. And that is not the time to stop. Not the time. So as you learn this practice and as you work through those minutes, you'll begin to find that your mind will get quiet. And I want you to sit there in the quiet for a minute. And I want you to listen to what else comes up afterwards. I want you to hear, a lot of times when we get quiet, it's our inner thoughts, our subconscious thoughts that are able to come out and tell you what you really need to hear, what you really need for that day. A lot of times people will be like, what do I need? And they'll ask a friend. Like, no, your friend can't tell you what you need. You know what you need. And it's a matter of getting quiet and being able to listen to yourself to figure out what you need. This helps tremendously because we can be in a place where we're not feeling good, where we're sad, or we're stuck, where we feel like life really sucks. And it's okay to talk to someone, don't get me wrong there, but not knowing what you need will keep you stuck, okay? So I want you to work through these. I want you to sit in the silence, and I want you to listen to yourself, okay? Your advice is the best advice. Honestly, doing this is how I created this challenge. I was journaling, and things were just coming through, and I wanted to be able to help people that aren't exactly able to go to therapy for one reason or another, whatever. And this is like therapy for yourself. You can sit down, you can dump all your thoughts out, you can maneuver them however you need to, and you can basically do therapy with yourself. You don't have to have someone to go to. It's a benefit, and it helps to be able to have someone put their eyes on your situation, to be able to tell you from a different perspective. But this is the first process. If you can't even sit down with yourself and basically talk to yourself, then your growth is a lot harder. Okay. Once you're able to sit down and journal and basically talk to yourself, you're able to grow personally. It's a major step. For the longest I had no idea how I was going to help others outside of sharing my story in my book. I was never quiet enough to listen until recently. When you begin to hear your underlying thoughts, I want you to write them down as well without judging. This is where everything begins to get fun. Okay? So that is what I have for day 2. Removing the thoughts, write every single thought down. Do not judge. Listen to the silence and write whatever comes to mind after you get silent. Okay? That is important. Tomorrow, we are going to talk about validation and what you've done, what you can do once you've taken out the trash, okay? So, I hope that helped today. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this, make sure you share it so your friends can see it as well. And also, this challenge, I'm giving away that notebook. Silence is golden, except when it comes to healing. One lucky person who comments and participates will be entered for that notebook. So that's all you have to do is interact. Even when you say #replay, then it will enter you. So have a great Tuesday. I will see you later. Bye, guys.